Okay, so we're back. Had to take a little break. The camera had a little hiccup. It's all good. Part two. So you were saying that you had to drive 45 minutes, and you took 3 years of PE, even though you hated PE, so you get a shower every day.
It was an hour and 45 minutes.
Now this. So let me ask you. There was a time that I remember that there was a shed somewhere. You and Larry were in, and Larry burned it down somehow.
Well, he burnt that down after I left home.
Oh.
I got to tell you something happened here.
Okay.
Weird. Larry and I, the house was here. Man, this is weird. And I was walking.
I'm gonna get up a little
coming
closer.
this way was this ball. It was about the size of
ball.
A soccer ball, and it was pure white. And
it was floating.
Floating. It came from the sky, and it came, and it was right at it was coming right at me.
So right over there.
Yeah.
Right, kind of where the Jeep is, or in that area.
In that area. And I said, Larry, look at this. And Larry's going, what are you looking at? And 9 feet off the ground, it disappeared. It was a meteorite.
Oh, no way.
A meteorite. If it would have hit the ground, I had a science teacher tell us, so we'd have all been killed.
And how far above the ground was it?
Like feet, 20 feet.
So it looked like it was right there.
Coming right in like that.
And where did it end up going?
About 50 feet from me, it exploded.
And disappeared.
And if it had hit the ground, it killed us.
Oh my goodness. That's because of the force of the no kidding.
And it was pure white burning. It was burning.
Really?
Yeah.
I bet you was scared to death.
Oh yeah, it happened so fast.
Right.
And I didn't realize how dangerous it was when I was a teacher and was telling a science teacher about it. And he said, "Oh my gosh, you were almost killed."
Yeah, that's true.
And that, because up here, the elevation, and then, I don't know, you can cut this out if you want. I was standing there,
cut anything out.
And I saw this little ball, and I stood for 10 minutes, and it would just float weird, and it was some kind of I don't know what it was.
Extraterrestrial, you think?
And then I've seen videos.
But that was here, all right here.
Right here.
So, do you think that has something to do with the off-gassing of uranium right here?
I have no idea.
What would attract stuff to here?
Beats me. It was just weird, really. But
because there's uranium everywhere here.
Yeah, and it's radioactive. Everything was radioactive.
And you can actually see it. It's actually in our chimney that we built.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just pan this chimney just a little bit, Judy. Me, my brother, and Judy said she mainly did all the house chores while us boys set the. But we picked up and laid all these stones. Dad put the concrete in though, didn't he?
Yeah.
But would we put the stone on and then he'd put the concrete in?
Yeah.
So the stones are actually sitting on top of each other.
Yeah.
And then they just got mortar to keep them steady. Okay. Tell the story about the piece, or maybe that was that he thought it was going to. Dad thought it was going to cave in because Mom had just put mud between the bricks.
Used mud, yeah. And he went and got cement and said, "I'm not," because the bedroom they slept in, the walls were what Mom was doing.
Right.
And she was just taking the ground and making it clay.
Making mud, right?
Yeah.
And then stuffing it between the cracks, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is amazing. And then tell you were graduated from high school.
I graduated from high school, and then I didn't do very well. I failed all the entrance exams, and so.
Where?
To get into college.
Oh, okay.
So I graduated from high school, and so it was recommended that I go immediately to summer school to pass all what we call them dumbbell classes, so that I could get past the entrance exam to get into school. So I went 2 weeks from high school. I graduated 2 weeks later, moved to Price, and lived in a girls' dorm. And
went to college.
Pardon me?
Went to college.
We called it Carbon College then. I don't know what it was.
I think it's called. I think it's one of the universities that picked it up. Yeah.
And I lived
That's a
just
good little
go-
college. That's where
yeah.
Pam got her degree.
And I passed the entrance exams and
Yeah.
went to college and met my husband and got married. And,
But you stayed in college most of your adult life till
Yeah.
kids were raised, right? Because you were working.
yeah.
You were running a daycare.
Yep. And,
You were going to college, teaching driver's ed.
well, teaching driver's ed I did after I got out of
After,
school.
okay. All right.
And while I was in college, I graded papers for the professors, so to help pay for my tuition.
Oh, excellent.
So anyway, that was
But you didn't get no government loan, nothing. You just
no.
grit your teeth and
Dad
Hit it hard.
said he'd match whatever I made.
who did?
Dad would
Oh,
match
did
it.
he? Okay, good.
He would match it until I got married, but
Right.
I got married after when I was 18.
Right.
But mainly it was just, you
Mm.
grit, get through.
I'll bet you were glad to have running water,
Oh. When I went
showers.
to college, if I get depressed, I would just go to the sink and turn on the water. And I go, look at that water pressure.
Isn't that
Look
amazing?
At that water pressure. And a bath. Oh my gosh, what I went through to get a bath. And I would get in the tub and I'd go one in and scoot the water up the sink, up the wall. And I mean, I was died and gone to heaven. I thought, I said, I feel so
And didn't have
tired.
to pump up any Coleman lantern to get light, right? I think we cooked on a Coleman stove too, right?
Propane.
Oh, it was propane. And we had a propane refrigerator here too, right?
Outside.
And the tank seemed like it was right here somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, everything was propane.
Yeah.
So we did have a refrigerator, which I was thankful for. We did have a stove, and we had an oven you could cook.
And Mom would bottle meat anytime Dad brought home deer or whatever, right?
Yeah, but that happened after I left.
Oh, okay.
After I left, because and then when I married my husband, we moved to Washington, and so this, it was gone. But this is such an honor for me to be able to see all of this because it brings back so many memories.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
Bet.
to sit
Good
here.
and bad memories, huh?
Well, you didn't even think about it. I mean,
Yeah, we didn't know we were poor.
No.
I didn't know you had to go in the bathroom to go to the bathroom for a long time.
But I did know the shower thing. And then to wash your hair, oh my gosh. So you'd have to boil it with water, and then
And which was snow.
let's just snow. Oh yeah, you go out and get snow, and then you put your hair in and get soapy. Then you put a towel around it, and then you take your underwear and put it in the soapy water.
Oh, so the water got used over and over.
Over and over and over. So then, after you washed your underwear and after you soaped your hair, then you put the water in a bucket. Then you take more water, and then you get a rinse. So then you take your underwear and you rinse it.
Oh,
Then you pour it in the bucket.
okay.
Then after, I needed 2 rinses. So then you do it again, rinse your hair, then underwear was rinsed, done. Then you put it in the bucket. Then you take that water from the bucket and mop the floor.
Okay. All right, but that water didn't. There's not a spring around here for another 5 or 6 miles, right?
That was in the wintertime when you couldn't get up to the
So, what would we do when we did have this that trailer with the tank and all that?
Then you actually had water that came out of a faucet.
But no shower, no bathroom, no toilet,
no shower.
but you had to drive clear up to the spring, which was like 3 or 4 or 5 miles on rough road, right?
Right.
And then but she would gather some of these rocks, right?
Yeah.
When we was getting.
And then when I was at home, Larry and I stand in the back of the pickup as we're hauling water, and we would shoot the rabbits.
Out of the back of the truck.
So you pound on the hood,
I didn't. This is a new story.
and Dad would slam on his brakes, and then we get out, and the rabbits would go off, and then they'd hide, so we could see them.
Right.
So we'd shoot the rabbit, and then we'd come home, and then
Dad
we'd
would
take
fix
2 of those rabbits.
And Mom would cook them, right?
cook 'em up. Oh,
Did she
Mom would
fry them?
Fry 'em.
Were
yeah.
they? And she knew how to fry
Yeah.
rabbit.
Oh, it
Oh,
was good.
yeah, had a
And with
this crust
Larry and
on
I
it.
got 'em, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rabbit.
yeah,
And that's when we couldn't get deer.
right.
If you got deer, then
The rabbits were safe.
Oh yeah, the rabbits were safe. Yeah. And the deer, and we got the deer as a family.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was teaching in a Native American school, we would take the hides and make drums, And one time I started crying.
Oh, because
I
you
could
remember
that
that
when
smell.
we got those deer.
Right.
Yeah.
Did it bring back a good memory or a
Oh, yeah,
bad memory?
Because you're going to get meat.
Right. You're gonna
You're
get
gonna
something to eat.
well.
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, but it's years later, they go, why are you crying? Because I remember when I was a kid and we used to cut deer and eat it. Yeah.
And they'd stretch them over, and they make drums out of it. And they'd let
Yeah.
that skin dry on the drum, and
Yeah.
then they do prayers
Yeah.
with
Oh,
their
yeah.
drumming.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I love that
Yeah.
story. That's a great story.
Yeah.
What about friends? Did you ever bring friends up here when you were a teenager?
They loved it. And
Did they really?
We had this old green Jeep,
Right.
and we called it Old Green.
Right.
And it was a stick shift.
Right.
And of course, as soon as the kid could see over the hood, they drove.
That's right.
Because Larry and I had to do homework. And to do the homework, we had to have somebody could drive. And so, and then we'd hold the kid on our laps so they could see over the hood.
And
So
let
then
them drive.
They learned to do the steering wheel.
Right.
Then, when they finally got legs long enough that they could hit the gas, then they took over.
Okay.
And one time, Vaughn was driving down the hill because Larry and I were doing our homework.
Oh, so you do your homework and let Vaughn drive?
We'll let Vaughn drive. And he could,
I didn't know this.
and he could barely see over the hood. And
So you were risking your life every time just so you could get your homework done.
And so this cop sees this pickup coming down, and he can see nobody's driving it.
And you two are doing your
We're
homework.
doing our homework. And so
He
he's
lights
on
you up.
driving, and he takes his cop car and blocks the road so that this runaway truck is not going to go into the highway.
Right.
So then he stops, and Vaughn gets out, and he goes, "What the heck?" And I said,
I bet he didn't say what the heck.
"Yeah." And he couldn't believe it. He said, "You mean to tell me this little kid's been driving that car?" And I said, "Well, yeah, he drives better than I do." And that was Vaughn.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So as soon as they could see, as soon as their legs were long enough to hit the gas,
They were
They
driving.
drove.
Right.
and
I
the kids
remember
would come
driving,
up,
learn to
and
drive
they'd
too.
take their friends and go take Old Green and go off on all these roads. The kids just love.
I'll bet they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said you were fun
Yeah.
as a kid.
Yeah. It was
That's
fun.
fun. That's a fun story.
Yeah.
That's one I haven't heard.
You hadn't heard about
You know,
Vaughn driving.
by the way, you look great. You're and you're 79, almost 80,
Yeah.
and you're doing great.
And it's love. I love Paul and Vaughn, and this brings back so many memories. And I could hardly sleep. I was so excited about coming here. Oh, I gotta tell one more thing.
Okay.
We used to climb that hill over there.
Okay, hang on. Let me get a video of it. That tall peak right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
We used to climb that, and then we go to the store and buy these airplanes that have balsa wood.
Yeah?
And sell them off, and they would go forever.
Oh, I'll bet, because there's an updraft coming up this canyon.
And these little airplanes are flying.
Oh, I'll bet even Dad loved that, because he loved flying.
Yeah, and we'd climb that hill. Yeah.
Well, I remember we always said, when we're from the road, as you can see that hill, the mine was right under it.
Yeah.
Oh, that peak right
Yeah,
there.
that's
Yeah,
what we climb.
that's fun.
Yeah, and fly airplanes
And,
off of it.
just a blast, huh?
Yeah. Oh.
You
God.
you didn't have conveniences, but you were free up here.
Oh, on a night. Oh my
Peaceful?
God, the stars are just brilliant.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, just brilliant.
And just peaceful as can be.